Today I have a great pleasure to chat with 3 students from veterinary medicine program, and we have Ciaran from Ireland, so welcome.
Thank you.
We have James and Rosie from the UK. It's great to have you here today. And at the beginning, I would like to know how come that you came to Poland to study veterinary medicine. How did it happen?
Rosie, want to go first?
Okay, so for me, obviously in the UK it's very difficult, very competitive to get into vet schools. So when I was in my 5th, 6th year, when you start looking at which vet schools you want to apply to, the subjects, the grades that you need, I just thought, this isn't happening. So I started to look at other options. So I kind of did my research. I went on student forums, word of mouth and things, and I made a long list, and then I cut that down to a short list, and I went to visit a few places. The first 2 I went to visit were Latvia and Lithuania, the 2 vet schools in those countries, but they were a little bit small, a little bit newer. So I thought, let's try again. And 3rd time lucky, I came to Warsaw, and I absolutely fell in love with the city. So yeah, very glad I came here.
Great.
I guess being from Ireland, it's a similar situation to Scotland or England. There's only one university in Ireland that actually offers veterinary medicine as a degree, and unfortunately, as you can imagine, placement, there's a lot of competition for it, and so the points are also very high because of this, because they have limited placement for students. So yeah, I was looking abroad, and I was looking into England and Scotland as well, and it was actually looking through Unicast, and I came across Medical Poland. And then, so I only found out about them about a month or 2 before I started studying here. So it was a bit of a quick transition, quick change, but lucky I did.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just the same as Rosie and Ciaran. Coming from a farm, I always wanted to do something in the agriculture industry. So initially I was thinking of animal science, studying that in maybe Harper Adams in England. Then when I was doing my levels, then I realised I really wanted to do veterinary, especially after doing some work experience. So I didn't work hard enough in lower sixth, didn't get the grades, got to a few interviews in England, and then didn't get any further. So then I was talking to my vet one day out at my farm, and then he told me that he had actually employed a few people from Budapest, and he told me to look into Europe and see what universities are available. So I did that, and then I came here to visit Warsaw. I thought it was the nicest university and the people were very friendly, so then I decided to give it a go, and if I didn't like it, then I'd obviously drop out and try and get back home, but first year I loved it, so I'm still here. Still going.
Yeah. It's great that you had the chance to come here beforehand, before you started the studies. It's also possible to come and visit and see the campus. It helps a lot.
I didn't get an opportunity, so I only found out a week before moving over here that I got accepted. So within a week I was doing a science degree back home that I wasn't really interested in. It was just I didn't get the points for veterinary what I wanted to do. So within a week of deciding I was doing that, I was suddenly moving to Poland, and so the first time I came over here was the first time I've ever been in Poland, ever seen the country or the city.
Oh wow!
So it was a big move, but yeah, definitely.
That's extreme.
My poor mom.
So what do you like about being here, about studying at the faculty?
I like the whole international aspect, because studying at home you would not get that at all, whereas here not just Polish people, but we have there's Norwegian people, there's people from all over. We have friends from different countries, from the US, from Canada, from India, from Kenya, from Slovakia. It's crazy. It really is, and I love it because you have friends all over the world, and even after graduation you'll still keep in contact, you'll still keep talking to them, and we're gonna go visit each other's houses, visit each other's countries and stuff. So.
Yeah,
it's basically like getting a free holiday. So
with study on top of that.
So one of our friends from Kenya. So if we all graduate, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll go to Kenya, and she can get us tickets to a safari for. So we'll go there. So celebrate.
also in the city itself, it also feels like we're on a free holiday. 'Cause yes, we're here to study, but we're enjoying, especially in summer as well. When the sun comes out and the exam season's over, like it just feels like you're not at uni. Like you're just on holiday.
You take a weekend away and go and see a different part of Poland, or like since you're like in the middle of Europe, you can just it's cheap to go like Prague or Berlin or anywhere like that.
Yeah.
Especially like even people who are considering coming over here, like first year obviously it's big move, but I would say now like getting on the plane from Dublin and coming over here, it's just like getting the bus to college now. Like it seems like they moved at the start, but now like it's home from home really.
Yeah, and flight only is like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. There's flights going every weekend and during the week too, so
it's faster than a train to England, isn't it?
Yeah.
Flights are pretty cheap. Like sometimes you get them for £10. So
yeah, that's true.
It's crazy.
And it's just quite easy to travel all around Europe. What does a typical day of a vet student look like?
Well, for example, today we had infectious diseases lab, so that's infectious diseases of farm animals. After that, Ciaran and I do hippiatry, which is an elective you get in 4th year. And today we were doing all about ultrasound, so we got to have a play with the ultrasound machine, and it was actually really cool.
Yes.
And then so got our classes, the practical labs. It's really great having the practical labs back in person. It really is. And then you've got to find the balance of between work and play, work and play. You got to have for your hobbies and things, things that kind of, it's important not to let yourself get burnt out by uni. You've got to have things that kind of, a relief from uni.
Yeah. Work-life balance.
Exactly. Yeah, I suppose like your workload does vary depending on the year, the time of the year, like what year you're in academically and the time of year. So obviously now coming into January, we'll be having our exam period at the end of January, start of February. So there'll be a lot of studying done then. So most of your day will be taken up with wake up in the morning, have a strong coffee, do your classes, and then you'll be studying. But like at the moment now things are not too bad. We have a few tests here and there. Keep on top of things, do your notes per lab, per lecture, and it is the workload at the moment is very doable. But
4th year is not too bad.
Compared to last year.
Yeah, I was about to ask what year was the most difficult or which subject?
Definitely 3rd year.
Third year.
Absolutely.
And COVID as well.
That made it even harder, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to stay motivated because you're at home just online all the time, If you had been classes in person, it probably would have been a bit easier to keep you motivated, getting out of your bed every day.
Yeah, it's amazing what those 5 minutes between classes can do. Like, you have a 2.5 hour lecture or lab, even just those 5 minutes walking to your next lab, having a bit of fun with your friends and having a chat, and maybe a bit longer grabbing a coffee. But when you're sitting at home and you turn on a lecture for 2 hours and then you go back to sleep and wake up for another one for another 2 hours, so it can be difficult.
Yeah.
But definitely amazing being back in anyway.
And which subject was the most challenging for you?
I think, pathomorphology obviously is one of the big ones, and I think there's a lot of pressure as well because it's such a big subject and everyone in the years above you has been complaining about, oh my gosh, I'm studying pathomorph, and and the tests as well, especially because we had them online last year. There was a lot of pressure. We were very, very, very stressed about them, but and I think when you fail a test, you start, you get even more stressed and the pressure just kind of builds up on you. So I think it was mostly due to that. The subject itself, I actually thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, it's not a stigma built around. I think that's, especially in English division, it's quite unique in the sense that everyone above you, everyone in the years below you, everyone's quite close, closely knitted, and everyone's friends and gets on. So, from 5th year the whole way down to 1st year, if someone has an exam, everyone has an opinion on it. So it's, if someone in 1st year is doing anatomy, from 2nd year to 6th year, everyone's going, ooh, anatomy, so, but I think everyone's varies with what they find difficult. Personally, I found pharmacology challenging. Because if at least with Pathomorph you could have reference, or you could make it interesting, and it had pharmacology is just a lot of learning off, which doesn't really appeal to me. It's just kind of learning drugs. So that's my opinion.
Probably Pathomorph or pathophysiology was who I found tricky enough, but just had to keep working, see that, keep preparing for the next exam, and stay on top of it and you'll be okay. Like, try not to stress out too much, you'll be alright.
It's funny because every year has their subjects that they stress about. You know, first year is anatomy and biophysics, and then you go on to biochemistry and then microbiology, and so you know, it's constantly, just when you finish with one subject, you've got something else to look forward to.
Yeah. New level, new devil.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, like in general, do you think that studying veterinary medicine is hard or challenging or harder than you thought?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's definitely not unmanageable. The important thing is, you know, you've got to be self-motivated and you've got to actually do the work. You can't go into vet thinking that you can just glide through, because you really can't. Like, you will. And the thing is, I don't, like, you can say this to people, but you don't realize it until it happens to you. But you will fail tests, and it's not a fault on you, but you just need to keep pushing through. And I think a lot of people get really, myself included, but get really kind of downhearted, and you lose your spirit once you fail a test. So you just need to pick back up, keep going, you know, keep studying, push through it.
Yeah, like going off what Rosie said there, like it is obviously difficult. It's, you know, I think that's known worldwide. Like it's not an easy degree. I would definitely recommend you sit down and have a talk with yourself and realize it is what you want to do. Because I think if you want to do something, you know, it would be worth the effort and the work. But you know, if you're sitting there unsure whether it's the career for you, it could be a difficult path. But definitely doable. Helps everyone, like, you know, shares notes and kind of, you know, you have study sessions with everyone and kind of just work together. But yeah, it is very doable if you just grind hard.
Yeah, just before you start veterinary, make sure you're committed, that you're going to be committed to see it through, you know, or you're just wasting your time, to be honest. But yeah, it's definitely manageable, like, if you put the work in, like, yeah.
It is fun, like it's not all.
There's good days and there's bad days.
Yeah, like
you're not studying 24/7. Like, definitely at the start of the semesters, like, it's not hard, like, but then the exams start and then you have to commit more, you know. So but then towards the end of the semester you have to work really hard too. Like,
work hard, play hard.
yeah. Balance.
Do you have any tips how to survive exams, finals?
Do it bit by bit over the semester, because I have a really bad habit of not doing my notes, not keeping up with notes, and then it comes to, you know, a week before the exam and you just go, you know, you need to get all your notes done and then you need to learn it all. So just keep on top of your notes and save the time before the exam for purely revising, just actually studying. So you shouldn't be still writing out notes. I still do that, it's so bad, but you just need to, little by little, build up to it.
Yeah, you've been listening back on this, trying to take your own advice, but
Yeah, I know.
I suppose I'll say the same. Definitely don't do it, but you have to mind your body and your mind. Like, it is, you know, I think some weeks we can have a few exams in 1 week, you know, big subjects. But you need to be sleeping well. You need to be eating and drinking well. Like, it's shenanigans of drinking 4 energy drinks a night and trying to stay up till 4 o'clock. Like, whatever study you get done in those 3 extra hours you stay up, you're just going to miss out on them the next day. Like, you know, get to bed early, get up early the next morning and go at it again. But definitely stressing your body and your mind, it's not going to benefit you in any form. So yeah, mind yourself, and like Rosie said, just if you stay on top of your notes, it leaves things a lot easier as well. After a lecture, go home, take half an hour, write up your notes. After a lab, don't have to be perfect, but just get them down on a piece of paper, and at least then afterwards, if you know you have an hour or so to spare, you can just go over your notes, read them, sit and having a coffee, read them, and the more times you read it, the more it's going to go in.
Yeah, it's just basically what they all said, but taking time off as well. I like to take time off the weekends, like one night the weekend, just relax and do nothing, you know. Or even one day, like try and I like to study hard during the week, and then the weekend take a day off. And I play football and sports here, so we do. The English division have like a football team, so we go and play football every Sunday, and just things like that, you know. Go out for food or something, you know.
Bit of passy bus.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I also heard about those study sessions some students have, that you gather together to study, and some people even bring some study materials like some animal bones. It's maybe for the first year, but
don't open vet students' bags because you might find
know what you'll find.
It'll be wellies, could be bones, could be anything.
Do you also practice this, like study sessions?
Yeah.
Well, I think everyone's different. One big thing I would say, like, we have a lot of oral examinations, and you can sometimes be caught in yourself. Like, you know, you might think you know something, and then if someone asks you out loud, what is it? And you realize, even though you've sat in your room reading it and writing it 100 times, you've never actually said it out loud. You might even be able to even pronounce the word, I don't know. But so I think that's good. Like, before oral exams, I like to, you know, even before, just outside the classroom before the test, you know, be asking one another questions even, and just, you know, you ask me something and I'll ask you something. And I think they're very productive before tests, and even if you can get together a week before the exam or something, they're definitely worthwhile, and just, you know, getting your brain taken. And it's a different method of studying as well, like, kind of goes in a bit better.
Putting each other on the spot to think, you know.
Yeah.
Because you could just very easily read over your notes and just knock it in, you know. So it's very good for oral exams.
Yeah, and let's talk more about living in Wrocław or in Poland. What are your favorite things to do in Wrocław? How do you spend your free time outside classes?
Yes, so as James was saying there, like, we actually, last semester, wasn't it? We joined a football team.
Yeah.
So there's like a soccer league here in the city, and it's really good. Like, I've never seen anything like it, where you just make your own team and you pay a fee at the start of the year.
Like 20 zlotys, and like we're playing other Polish teams, like Polish lads.
Yeah, it's great to meet people. Like, it's not just like a university thing. It's anyone in Warsaw can, like, just pay and have.
Everyone from the city can.
Yeah, exactly. So we meet loads of Polish people, and it's good fun.
Yeah, our team's basically vet students, medicines, and dentistry students, so it's pretty good. Like, so you meet and you get invited to their parties or any organisations that they're organising, so meet even more people, so it's pretty good. It's a good way to make friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's good fun, and it's a good study break too.
Suppose, top of that, what do we do? Like, I suppose we go and, like, get coffee between classes and stuff like that. This time of year is brilliant, especially with the markets and everything, and the ice skating rink is open, so we'll be there once or twice to see if we still remember how to do that.
Paintball and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, the paintball is brilliant.
And then the outdoor swimming pool, or the outdoor lake.
Oh,
Morskioko, that's great in summer.
Yeah, we go there in the summertime. It's good.
Maybe not now, that could be the ice rink at the moment. But yeah, that's brilliant as well.
Play volleyball in the summer too. Instead of playing football at the weekends, we play volleyball. So.
Yeah, like, despite being very landlocked, there's a kind of a beach vibe going around all the rivers here. So, like, there's all, like, sand areas, and there'll be, like, volleyball courts, and, you know, outdoor bars and outdoor seating area. And it's definitely, like, the weather is very extreme here. It goes from ice skating and snow in the winter to you know, tanning and beach volleyball at winter or summertime. So.
Yeah, it gets really warm in the summer. Like.
But,
remember first year in the dorms, it was like, I don't know, 35, 33 or 4 degrees. It was so warm. So it's brutal.
And then obviously the nightlife here is quite good as well.
Oh yeah.
So, and one thing I always say to people, and even we friends come over, when you say it to them when they're leaving, they agree, it's a very safe kind of feeling city, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're out late at night and you never feel like threatened, or you never feel like...
I feel safer here personally than back home, like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it's a safer city, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But yeah.
It's a big student city as well, you know, you go out and you will definitely meet other students.
You could be in McDonald's or something like that, and you just meet, like, international people, and people just come up and start talking.
Actually becomes an issue, because here one of the first questions you ask someone is where are you from, and then if you do it at home they look at you as if you have two heads. They're like, what? Why are you asking me that?
Yeah.
It's so many people. So,
yeah. Did you have a chance to travel around Poland or Europe as well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've been all around Poland, to Gdańsk, Zakopane, Krakow. It's the kind of things you do, like when my family's over, we go, like we went to Krakow and everything. And then you can also, you know, it's perfectly located, so we can get like trains to Prague, and we can go, you know, all over, and Ryanair flights, obviously.
Yeah.
It's super cheap.
Yeah, no, definitely the airport as well, being so close to the city.
yeah.
It's perfect.
Like, I know a lot of people who on long weekends or if a week off, and just go online, look up cheap flights, and they're away somewhere. And
It's amazing.
yeah, it's a luxury we don't really have. Well, I suppose like being from islands, all of us, like flights in and out of islands tend to be quite expensive. But even just being able to hop on a train, go to Germany, or a bus, to Slovakia or Czech Republic. It's a luxury we don't have at home, so it is fantastic having it here.
I want to do more traveling, to be honest. I've only went down to the south of Poland to like some castle. It was actually Rosie's, like her family knows this man down south of Poland.
You make that sound so dodgy. We went to stay with a family friend in south of Poland.
Yeah, it was beside the Czech border. It's pretty good, but like I haven't went to Krakow yet or Gdansk or Warsaw, so I kind of want to go around Poland. Been to Prague, like got a bus to Prague. It's like, or the bus was only like 19 euros, so it's dirt cheap. Like,
Yeah.
so it's nice.
Yeah.
Definitely do more traveling.
And how do you find Poland, like in terms of English language? Is it difficult to communicate with people, or?
Sometimes, when we moved into Rye at the very beginning, bless their hearts, they did try their best, but the ladies in the reception at Rye don't speak English. And then we were like, oh no, is everybody going to be like that? But actually, most people are very, very, like, I think in Poland it's mandatory to learn English, or a foreign language at least, right?
Yeah.
So everyone, most people have some degree of English, but some people get slightly embarrassed, I think, and they don't want to talk English because but honestly, most Polish people's English would be way better, way better than our Polish. It's so bad.
Yeah. It's like I have my rule when I'm telling people at home about Poland. I don't know, you might disagree, but I would say anyone under the age of 26 in Poland has fluent English, whether they admit it or not. Like, you go up to people and you be talking to them, like apologizing for their Polish, and then they just have a full conversation with you, perfect apologize for the English, sorry. And yeah, full conversation in English, everything said perfectly. I think Polish people tend to hold themselves to a higher standard when they're speaking English. They're maybe a little bit embarrassed to make a little mistake. But no, like it's fantastic. Their English is brilliant, and it makes it so easy. Like, we're actually a bit arrogant, I suppose, like just talking English the whole time. But it really is a great help that their English is so good.
Yeah, like I have no problem. Like, any shops, like most people speak English. Like, it's never really a problem. Like, I think if it had been more of a problem, I would have learnt Polish better by now, probably, to be honest. But I'm really bad at Polish.
People
just get the basics.
How's your Polish? People from home always asking, is your Polish good? And you're like, no, should they all speak English? But it is hard as well, because I think we're in a different we're in English division, so we're surrounded by English people. The professors all speak English. All the young people in Poland speak English. So I think the only opportunity we had where we had to speak Polish was actually with the dormitory.
Yeah.
I remember for the first week, you'd hand them your key, and you go up and you ask for your key number, so we're 107B, and they would hand it back to you.
Yeah.
And the second week I walked up and I said 107B, and she goes, nie, Polishki. And so they made us learn a few words.
Yeah, they made us learn some Polish. It's pretty good, to be honest.
Good training.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I think the people are actually quite happy when they have a chance to practice their English with a native speaker, so they don't want to actually speak Polish, that's why they just use the opportunity to practice.
Yeah, that's okay, they won't get much Polish out of us.
So what is your favorite thing about Poland, or how, like, in what sense Poland is different from your countries? Like, what did you notice or observe?
I like how cheap everything is. Everything is, really, really cheap compared to home, and it's great. It just makes living in general so much cheaper. And what you would pay for rent, Polish prices are so much less than if you studied in Edinburgh or anywhere. So yeah, I definitely like that, and I like the whole how people are just in general a lot friendlier. They will be willing to talk to you. I remember when I first came to Poland, my mum and I were struggling with my bags, and we had about 3-4 Polish men come over and be like, oh, can we help carry the bags, and you just wouldn't get that at home as much. So yeah.
I suppose I'd say with Irish people and Polish people. I know there's a big Polish population living in Ireland as well, so you know, obviously we're very used to Polish people, but there's definitely a lot of similarities between the two cultures, and today very, like, everyone gets on very well, like, you know, say young Polish people and young Irish people like to go out and get a drink together and stuff like that, you know, very sociable people. And yeah, definitely similarities. I suppose differences to home would be probably the landscape itself and kind of like the actual cities, like even the city I consider a small enough city. It would be very big back in Ireland. And you know, it's probably smaller than Dublin, but definitely the second biggest city in Ireland after that. But and the buildings here, I think the architecture is beautiful. You have a lot of like old European buildings and kind of pre-war buildings and stuff like that.
It's nicely.
It's definitely
Runick's very nicely.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and there's a lot more kind of care taken into, I think, the layout of cities. Like here, everything, all the shops, like, you know, all your supermarket stuff, they're all in shopping centres. And then you walk through the main streets of the town and it's all restaurants and cafes, and like it's all nice and it's all reserved for, like, to make it a nice kind of scenic area. Whereas I think back home, you know, the cities, all the main streets would be, you know, all, you know, high street kind of shops and stuff, and McDonald's and kind of.
Streets are a lot cleaner here probably too.
Yeah. I definitely like just the environment in the city here. I think it's beautiful, and like it's very well kept as well.
Yeah, and I like about the city too, like it's really easy to get from one side to the other, like there's trams going everywhere and buses.
And the public transport.
Yeah.
It is.
What advice would you give to people who are considering this career of being a vet?
Yeah, I suppose for students anyway, definitely just like contact some students. Like I know when I came here in first year, I had a lot of people reach out and contact me who weren't here yet. They were looking to study here next year, and you know, they just send a text on, you know, on a social platform. They'd be like, "Hey, I know this sounds really weird, but I saw you're studying in Warsaw, you're studying university. Would you mind if I pick your brain and ask you a few questions?" And like, you know, no one is ever going to turn around and say no. Like, I know people might think it seems a bit awkward, but definitely reach out to people who are studying here. It's not that hard. All you have to do is go onto the Instagram page for the university and just see who from your country, you know, is living there. And I know it might sound a bit creepy, but it's not. Definitely do it. Reach out to people, ask them, just, "Hey, my name is this, I'm considering studying here next year. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?" And I know you've had loads of Rosie from the UK, and I've had 3 or 4 people from Ireland do it as well, and it just gives you a bit of peace of mind. That would be my piece of advice anyway. Reach out to current students and you know, ask them questions. Like, don't be sitting there wondering. Get online, ask people.
Yeah, and just come on over and see around the city and like meet up with the students that if you have got in contact with them, and they'll show you the places around the city, give you a better idea of the city, like, so nothing to worry about.
And the thing is, you know, people that come here are people that do really want to do veterinary, and you know, so much so that they would consider going abroad for it. So like, if you're already considering coming here to do veterinary, it just shows that you are dedicated, you know. So just go for it. To be honest, just go for it. Just apply and come over. And, yeah.
I think being over here is also a great distraction from home, if you like. Like, you're here to study. So you've a lot, like, all your free time that you would usually have at home. You know, like, I don't know, if I was home, like you're James, you'd be out on the farm half the time, like, playing football or riding horses. Like, Rosie, you'd be the same.
Horses the whole time.
Horses, or, you know, going off with your friends and stuff. Like, I think when you're here and you're surrounded by people who are doing the same thing as you, like the same hours as you, like, they're going to go out the same nights as you, they're going to be studying the same nights as you. You know, it is fantastic having that kind of support group. And, like, you know, say you've an exam the next day, you're not going to have a lot of people trying to get you going out or get, you know, playing football that night or anything. Like, everyone is understanding of what situation you're in, and definitely helps.
And when you think about your future careers, do you have any favorite areas of veterinary medicine you would like to concentrate on, or like some specific animal species?
Large animals, definitely.
Yeah, large animals. Go back to Ireland to this work, like, definitely to farm animals, like. Yeah,
I think I'd be more interested in equine or small animals. In terms of, I'll take my own advice now, what I was told this summer, when you're a student, you don't have to decide anything. So don't close yourself off. Don't be, direct in what you want. We have to do mandatory placements over summer. You have to go to small animal clinics. You have to see large animal. You have to spend time with equine on farms, and so go to each one with an open mind. Because now personally, I thought I'd never like small animals. It's something I thought I was never interested in. And after doing some placement over the summer, I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it, and it's definitely something towards the future I might be looking at doing. But like you've 5.5 years here, and at no point in your studies someone is going to tell you you have to pick one. So stay open-minded.
Yeah, you have to learn it. All the small animals and large animals on us, so there's no point getting caught up too much yet.
No, and if you can trick yourself to being interested in it all, it'll make studying a lot easier for you as well.
Especially, this semester is purely farm animals. We have reproduction, infectious, internal, and surgery, but all are farm animals. So, if you don't have an interest in farm animals, I can see how it'd be difficult. So just have an open mind, go into it kind of thinking, oh, maybe this wouldn't be such a bad idea. And then same for next semester when it's all equine, because, some people might not be interested in equine, but go into it with the open mind and think, actually, this is really cool,
Yeah. Okay, it was great to talk to you today and to get to know you better. And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, and hopefully it will help people who are considering this career and considering becoming a vet. So thank you again.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.